Dude, that's a really scary one.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN Podcast. Podcast number 79. And it's just two of us today, joined by my co-host, as always, Christian. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. You might have just caught me talking about Lask there. We'll get to that eventually. I'm feeling good, at least after the advancement in the Europa League. Feeling sad, though, for the Hoops team and their European journey. I guess altered. Not completely ended, just altered course a little bit. But, yeah, we'll get into that, too. But otherwise, yeah, I'm doing all right. Friday night, chilling.
Chilling like a villain. And an earlier one for us, too. Hope you guys like this time slot. We'll see if we carry on with this or not. But anyways, let's get right into the Twitter questions. We have just two for now. Really just one. One's coming in from SCPRUB 22. He says, "Let's go." So here we are going. And the only question really comes in from Joel De Silva at JoeLeon_073. And Christian, I'll give this one straight to you because I know you're very passionate about this one. What are your thoughts on Sporting renaming the academy? I guess just not to mention renaming basically everything, but
yeah,
we'll just start with the academy, naming it to the Cristiano Ronaldo Academy, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's the name. Yeah, not to be confused with the Cristiano Ronaldo campus.
Yes,
that's in Funchal.
Exactly.
Yeah, Madeira is one of their training facilities. So yeah, I mean, basically, if you just want to take a step back, the timing of the announcement is supposed to be some like attempt at goodwill, basically to get your vote. It's a cheap way to get your vote tomorrow. But I mean, the whole thing itself, basically just giving it to Ronaldo, honoring him. Yes, it's fine, right? He's a great player. No one's gonna question, the merits, whether or not he earned it or not. But at the same time, it's even in some of the campaign literature that Verandas had from when he was running 2 years ago, selling the naming rights to these things, not only the stadium but the academy, right? That's a super profitable thing, especially the CR7 brand. Definitely missed opportunity there as far as, generating some new revenue streams. Also, like establishing a partnership where he's sharing stuff on social media. The rollout was done so poorly. Ronaldo still hasn't actually acknowledged it. He's had 2 posts, and it's been, I think, like 4 days, and he's like 96 hours, and he still hasn't acknowledged it. So the rollout's done super poorly. You're not even gaining the exposure, that you would get if Ronaldo's tweeting stuff about this or posting about it to his fucking 30 million followers, however many he has, like one of the top follow athletes and just people on Instagram in general. It's a clusterfuck, right? So, the deal itself, right? Ronaldo, nice job. He earned it. Great player. One of the greatest of all time. He came from Sporting. That's nice. But the way that the rollout was done and the opportunity that was left on the table is pretty lame and sad.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking trash. Let's be real. It's the same. The rumors that are coming around saying that we might rename José Alvalade after Cristiano Ronaldo. I hope we don't get the same rollout if that happens. Because then that's pathetic.
Those were the rumors, right? I guess
this could be the only thing I can think of with this is one, us trying to bring Ronaldo back or something eventually. We'll see. But another thing is just already establishing that partnership, because I think this is one step to then changing the actual stadium name for us to potentially, hopefully, get fucking money off of it. I hope it's really not like one of these things where we just change the name and Ronaldo's just chilling on a fucking island in Italy, not giving a fuck, right?
It's just like the way that they just in general, the way that they roll things out, like the marketing campaign, so what, we got one tweet about this. They didn't it's not like they were doing it, right? They weren't unveiling it. So he wasn't there to take photos and stuff. They have like a new sign and stuff like that. Like that wasn't it. But it's just like it's just like really just the way that they lack of creativity and just like the amateur-ish way that they roll stuff out is like they're endless offenders, all right? They just they do it every single time there's anything, you know.
Yeah, facts. We got another question from just now, actually, from Matt Paiva, or Casa de Paiva, also known on Twitter at mpaiva7. He asks, "What are your thoughts on Paulo Futre being honored as one of the gates at Avelade? We making a big deal for nothing, or Sportingista's right to be upset?" Fun fact, also, Paulo Futre went on a crazy fucking blocking spree last night. Also, I was not one of the victims, but I do know our boy Johnny was.
Wait, so is he's getting a gate? I thought he's also getting a field.
Oh wow, from the academy. Oh yes. Instead of Nani or something, that was the big thing I seen last night on Twitter too.
I didn't know he was getting a gate too.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a little bit too much. Like, it's really weird, man. I don't get why. Like, right?
Oh, sorry, he's getting a pitch. Never mind.
So the thing
Matt
is,
must be confused.
Okay, whatever. It's still like
he's getting something.
Yeah, he's getting something. Like the way it's like. Right. So no matter what, people would probably still be mad at him. Right. So if he rolled out all these deals and it was like the Sikh gate, the Novo Banco fucking field or whatever. Right. People would be like, oh, you're just selling out Sporting, you know. But the thing is, it's like he's trying to be like the business guy. Right. Like he's the business guy. Like that's his thing. Like he's wheeling and dealing. He knows these agents. He knows these rich guys, and he's like wheeling and dealing. But he's literally not wheeling and dealing if he's not getting stuff like that done, and he's just like handing out fields to Paulo Futre, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. But I guess the overall question, are we making a bigger deal than it should be, or?
I mean, the point of it is to achieve what they're achieving, right? Because we're talking about it. Right. It's basically pointless. Right. But I mean, that's kind of a lot of people have hypothesized that the strategy of doing all this shit this week is obviously in the run up to the vote on Saturday. They also announced today they're like participating, or they signed some like climate change pledge or some shit.
Really?
Yeah. Like they're trying to be like they're on the path to being like a carbon neutral team or some shit. I don't even know, man. Just this, it's the same shit, right?
We're gonna use electric trains all the way up and down Portugal to get to the away games, or what?
I don't know, man.
That's amazing.
It's some really, really. They rolled that out literally this afternoon, right? Like
I missed that.
So it's like each day you get a lame symbolic action. It's like you get the academy, then you get the fields, then you get the gates, and then you get the goal.
Yeah, Vitor
now you
Damas.
got the climate document.
Could be worse. It could be a Rui Patricio goal.
True, but there's still one goal left unnamed, right?
Oh fuck. Whatever it should be the opposing team's goal at all times. The Rui Patricio goal. Never forget the frangos he did when he started off at Sporting. Hopefully that carried on to the next team. Anyways, before we jump into the Aberdeen game, let's start off a bit with the preseason and the transfers, of course. Overall, what did you think of the preseason? I'll go through quickly some of the results. I know there was an Estoril game. I believe it was tied. But then there was a 2-1 win against Portimonense, a 3-1 win against Belenenses, a 2-1 win against Real Valladolid. And then, of course, the last game that was supposed to happen for the Cinco Violinos was canceled because quite a few COVID cases amongst the team. One of them being our coach, obviously, Ruben Amorim, which, we'll get into a bit more when talking about Aberdeen. But overall preseason, what did you think of it? I'll also give my 2 cents after.
I mean, I guess it was, until it got cut off, at least, it was better than last year's preseason, seemingly, which is... I think that's more of a testament to how bad last season's preseason was, because this season's preseason was a COVID preseason, right? So there wasn't even that much travel, and like they're still somehow scheduling more and better games. Like I don't understand how they managed to botch the last one so badly.
Yeah.
And at least they were also not losing to second division Swiss teams either, which helps.
Exactly. That was just where I was gonna go with it. At least we're not losing the second division Swiss teams or third division. But yeah, I guess nothing more to say than that. You're right, spot on. We'll also go through the transfers because on paper, I'll start off with saying I think we had a decent transfer window. We brought in a stud of a left back, Antunes. Amazing left back. Portuguese international. No, but in all seriousness, he has some experience with, or not some, he has a lot of experience with them. Thankfully, he's not going to be, this isn't for a first choice left back. Nuno Mendes is obviously going to take that spot. I don't know exactly how well, I've never seen Antunes work in a three at the back system. Mind you, I haven't followed a lot of Antunes throughout the years. I only know of him from Malaga. And like the few games I've watched with him in Malaga and whatever I've seen on the when he was in the Portuguese national team. So I've never really seen him fit in this system. It's an interesting move. I guess it's a veteran, something we need on a young team. Is he better than Borja? I don't think so. I don't think we needed that spot. I think it's a waste of money personally in terms of paying wages, but yeah, not fond of that move. I know you're also not fond of that one. But we'll go to the right back, and I'll ask you your 2 cents on Pedro Porro, who looked decent yesterday, actually, on the right.
Yeah, I thought he was great. I thought he was probably the best player on the field. The numbers would probably bear that out as well. He led in chances created, crosses, defensive actions. He was everywhere, right? He was up and down the whole flank. He even made a play, probably fouling the guy, but didn't get called, all the way on the opposite side. Crosses were accurate. He put one right on Thiago Tomas's head. Could have been a goal. Had a couple other ones where his crosses led directly to chances. I thought he was great. Kind of, not gonna lie, like that's kind of the quality that I was low-key expecting / hoping for, right? He's been a regular starter in La Liga at ages 18 and 19, right? He's been good enough for Man City to invest like 15 million into him at age 18, right? So, I mean, he's 20 and he's been around a couple years, plenty of experience, and yeah, I mean, he's quite good. I hope he doesn't truthfully get too good, right? So they're in a situation where it's like we want him back, like to be on the team, like
yeah.
But they just got Nelson Semedo, right? No, that was Wolves.
That's Wolves.
But they have the other one. They have Cancelo.
Cancelo, yeah. Did they get a right back? I feel like they got a right back.
They still have Kyle Walker too, I think.
Yeah.
So hopefully that keeps them occupied for a while. But
it should.
Walker is soon to be done, and then they'll be looking for the next phase. Basically what I'm saying, he's on a 2-year loan deal.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's pretty fucking good, right? So we'll see. But
if he impresses by the end of the 2 years, it might be tough for us to keep him. I also don't think we got an option to buy, right?
It was really unclear. Really unclear.
Which only means that we don't. Let's be real. But yeah, he looked good. We also got, just to complete the back line, really, we got Fidal, who looked decent yesterday as well. He had a huge cut.
Yeah, he did.
Just as Aberdeen was entering the third half or the last third of the field there. So he looks decent. He's not a Mathieu, let's be real. He's Mathieu. I missed Mathieu a lot yesterday, but again, we'll get into that. But I think he's a decent signing. He's not a horrible center back. Definitely an experienced center back that we need. I can't complain too much on that. We also got a goalkeeper, Andre Paulo. Just kidding. We also got an Adnan as well, who started for us yesterday. Christian, what are your thoughts on that? Of course, most of us didn't think we needed a goalkeeper this transfer window. I thought Max was gonna be our next Rui Patricio, if you will, where we bleed him in young, and then within the next few years, he really gives us dividends after all the experience he gets. But we got one, a decent one. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Adnan or whatever his name is? Adnan.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's decent, right? He really didn't have to get called into action yesterday. The main chances that Aberdeen had were off target, including the shot at the 89th minute that was off target. Actually, I mean, he did have a decent save off a header, maybe. But yeah, I mean, he's fine. Kind of expensive, but no transfer fee. So that's kind of the deal you have to make. You have to kind of overpay the guy that you're getting on the free. But yeah, I mean, for basically what, like a pretty much just George Mendes plant, right? He's not a bad goalkeeper, and to be honest, don't rule out Max leaving until the transfer window is closed and he's confirmed to be still on the team, because until the clock expires, he will be potentially able to, they'll be willing to sell him.
Really, anybody with a value in this team is about ready to go.
I've not heard anything about Jovan and Southampton since the big announcement that they were talking. So don't know what's up with that. And
honestly, I'm surprised they played him yesterday. I think if there was anything really serious, they wouldn't have played him yesterday.
That's true.
Same way they did with Joelson. Was it against Benfica?
Yeah.
Like, ridiculous. The fact that he's still here. But anyways. And then we go on to the bigger signings, I guess, which was Nuno Santos and Pedro Gonçalves. I'll start with Nuno Santos. He looks like a decent little winger, more for depth. Of course, we missed him yesterday. He also, tested positive for COVID, but I think he's not so much of a starter for us as much as he is like actually Christian mentioned this just before we started the show. He's more to fill in the gaps. I think if there's injuries, which we've seen a few of them last season, especially on that left flank, I think Nuno Santos can definitely step in, definitely can come off the bench. He can definitely start a few games, don't get me wrong. But I think for the most part, he's just another body to have, and he's a good player. We gave up a lot for him. That is my only thing with Nuno Santos. We gave up Dalla and Gerald, which we'll see where that takes us. And plus we gave them money, which I think is a horrible negotiation. But we'll see. Fun fact, just because I mentioned Gerald, an assist yesterday against Besiktas, where he passed it to Carlos Mané. What could have been? And Christian, if you want to give your 2 cents on Pedro Gonçalves.
Oh, I mean, I think he's great, and he's shown also in some of these preseason games also that he can play on the wing as well. Or honestly, like the way that we were playing yesterday with a super narrow attacking three as well. I mean, I think he can play like underneath the striker, alongside someone with Vieto, basically, where they're just kind of like free ranging it. So yeah, I mean, he's super versatile, and would love to see him, in the 11. Definitely, I think he's definitely an 11 signing or an insert into the 11 signing type of guy.
Yeah, I agree. I'll be bold enough to say I think he's a direct replacement for Bruno Fernandes. He maybe not in terms of position, but in terms of because I do think I prefer Pedro more on the wings than in the middle. But in terms of or that Vieto role, like he played yesterday, but I do see him as like that guy that we might look to, which I hope we don't have that guy like we did last year, because we were way too dependent on Bruno. But
Mateus Nunes, baby, that's why I took his number. That's the replacement.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. And then in terms of transfers, there's only just 2 more big ones that weren't exactly transfers, but loans coming back, which is Bragança, who should have started for us last year, let's be real, and Pelinha, who never should have left with Sosu Sintra. I think Bragança is going to be the one to keep our eyes on. He's an interesting little player. I believe it was against Valladolid where he fucking completely destroyed that midfield or that attacking line within like 3 seconds. Messi-esque, if you will. It'll be an interesting season with Bragança. I think big things are coming his way. And what do you think about Palhinha, Chris? Do you actually think we'll keep him?
We haven't renewed, right? So
Nope.
Only talk, only chatter. Basically, at the end of the day, I saw something in the last couple of days that said CSKA still lingering around. At the end of the day, he's not going to CSKA. He's made that clear. The only team I can see him leaving to go to is Wolverhampton Wanderers FC.
Whew.
And if Wolverhampton Wanderers FC comes on deadline day with the George Men's 15 special,
he's gone. He's gone.
But if that doesn't happen, I think he stays, and I think he renews. Mm-hmm. So right now I put the odds of him staying at 70, and I put the Wolverhampton swoop at 30.
I'm still 50-50 here.
You think it's closer?
I think listen, we've been basically this whole preseason saying he's going to leave. I guess we couldn't materialize whatever with CSKA Moscow. We're still throwing his name around. I think only the only thing that might slow him down is this COVID positive test. It's the same thing with Luis Max. I think the only reason those two might stay is just because they tested positive now, and teams might not be. I don't know on how quick they'll come back. I don't know how teams feel about that.
One of them has to go. That's what I think. So between Jovan, Max, and Palhinha, right? They have like an encaixe, right? They have like an amount in their head that they have generated from transfers, right? So basically, it's Mateus Pereira and Acuna. Really, is about it. So that's 18 million right there. Probably less after commissions, right? So that's not enough. So they're gonna look to basically double that, right? With all those guys in theory are like in the 15 range, Jovan, Palhinha, Max, in theory, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically the thing to look out for, I think, because Palhinha was basically gone, right? So that 15 that they had in mind, like, that's kind of like being accounted for, in their heads at least. So I think that money has to come from somewhere. So that's what the deadline day surprise may have in store for us.
And if last season taught us anything, all three of them could be very well goal at the end of the window. Let's be real.
And we get some fucking, we get some like,
I'm trying to think of a meme in football right now, like
Will Grigg
can probably get, buddy. I bet you that will happen. Johnny comes in with a question. What about that guy from Torino, the center back? I think his name is like Lyanco or something like that. Lyanco?
Yeah.
What do you think? Is he on his way? Just rumors?
There's like a unverified but with 1K followers reporter tweeted that his agent was talking. I don't know if you guys remember, his dad did this interview like 3 weeks ago, a month ago, where he's like, oh, I mean, he likes Sporting, like he would go there, basically like saying like if the clubs worked out a deal, he would be willing to agree to personal terms, like. So I mean, I think he's kind of expensive though. I think that they're gonna have to pay like 10, 12. I think you could go maybe like 8 million for like 60% maybe or something like that. Will be that's what they'll try to swing, obviously, right? Some like 8 for 60% deal. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of highly rated, but at the same time, right? Bologna, where he was loaned out, has been interested this whole time as well, right? And I guess that deal that they've been, or the amount that they've been willing to pay, obviously hasn't materialized either. So maybe they'll settle for a little bit less. Then maybe we can, get 6 million for 60% or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I hope he comes, right? But truthfully, think we need an attacking reinforcement more than we need another center back. But
yeah, agreed. I'll just quickly go through the departures as of right now. Of course, Acuna left for
signed with Apo.
Yes,
our
right back.
Yeah,
legend of the club. Legend of the club. We had Marcos Acuna leave for 10 million to Sevilla. We had Matheus Pereira leave for almost that same amount as well to West Brom. We had Gelson Dalla and Sheikh Gerald, as I mentioned, included in that Nuno Santos deal. We had Battaglia on loan to Alaves. Eduardo Henrique on loan to Crotone. Thank you, Crotone. We had Pedro Mendes going to Almeria, which I don't know if anyone's paying attention. That is another Jorge Mendes little money laundering system. Because look at that team. That 11 is almost all Portuguese league. Macaretzi's in net. They just bought Benfica bought the striker from there, but I'm pretty sure
they broke the Segunda Liga transfer record. That's some sketchy fucking shit.
Yeah. And I didn't see the game they won against Famalicão. I don't know if he did well or not. I heard he did, but
I don't
20
know.
million?
I don't know. He didn't look that good against Payok, but
no, he
I
didn't.
don't think any of them did.
And honestly, I love the fact that Jorge Jesus is already calling him Darling instead of Darwin. Amazing.
He's Scottish, dude. Like
exactly. I have no idea. We had, of course, Mathieu retiring. I actually have his name on the back of this jersey. Apparently, we're finally out of the Alan Ruiz contract, and we're out of a few more contracts like Felipe Xabi, Bruno Paulista, and as you mentioned, André Geraldo.
Actually, dude, we are not out of the. I don't think we're out of the Bruno, but I don't think we're out of any of those, to be honest.
I don't know. It just says departure from Sporting Bis, so I don't know what exactly that means. So we loaned them out. Sorry, I had to just scroll up. We loaned out Paulista to Fatima.
That was last season.
Oh yeah, right. That's end of loan. Never mind. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think they're still under contract, unfortunately.
Also, random question: Bruno Gaspar, what the hell is up with him? Where is he? Kamashu. Let me just quickly get into.
There's a lot of cases. Dumbia still has to be resolved too. There's like 10 guys to still resolve.
But I think I've seen pictures of Dumbia in training, unless I'm mistaken.
You're mistaken.
I'm mistaken.
He hasn't been in the Algarve now.
That's horrible. Then the same thing with Kamashu. Like, what a waste.
Also not there.
What a waste of money. What a waste of money. It's pathetic.
I saw some fake news that Liverpool wanted to do the buyback clause.
Yeah.
Like,
why?
That's not. I don't think that they want to do that.
I also want to know how much Varandas is paying UEFA to have him under the fucking golden the young
the golden boy. Oh, the golden boy
trophy. Yeah. For what?
Top
What did he do last year? That's ridiculous. Nicholas Nkulo. Have you heard anything about Nicholas Nkulo?
No, I don't even know who that is.
From I believe Marseille. Anyways, we're not too sure, dude. We're not too sure. Anyways, let's finally jump into the Aberdeen game. Sporting beat Aberdeen 1-0. Our first official game of the season after the Gil Vicente game got canceled because we had some positive COVID tests, and they had at least, I think, like 15 players or something like that. Anyways, the starting lineup was Antonio Aznan in net with Coates, Luis Neto, Fadal in the back with Pedro Porro and Nuno Mendes taking up the flanks. With Matheus Nunes and Wendell in the midfield with Tiago Tomás, Vieto sort of in that false nine role, and Jovan Cabral with substitutions of Bragança and of Sporar, surprise, and Plata. Christian, what were your thoughts on this game, dude?
It wasn't that great. Wasn't that aesthetically pleasing either. Got the job done pretty early, in retrospect, but at the same time, it's not a job terribly done in the sense that Aberdeen was never truly that dangerous, right? The most threatening moments they had was the chance at the end, and probably maybe one other header, and then like the through ball that they almost had. You know, if that's if basically one chance and one almost chance is the best that they created, then they're pretty much held in check, right? The possession was like 70-30. We weren't really carving out insane amounts of chances, but it felt pretty much under control maybe until the last 10 minutes when they kind of ticked up the pressure, which is a natural thing that will happen, in a game that they're a must-win game that they're chasing. So it wasn't, it was, I mean, a lot of people made it seem horrible. I didn't think it was truly horrible. I thought it was just fine, especially all things considered, the travel, the circumstances. Weren't missing too many key players at the end of the day, but the bench was pretty thin as a result of that. So yeah, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, me neither. I at least like that we can at least keep possession. I don't know how much that has to say about us or how much that has to say about Aberdeen per se. But I thought we kept possession well. There was maybe a few especially towards the end where I thought Aberdeen could definitely nick a tie, and then of course most of us were also watching or at least keeping tabs with the Rio Ave game. So we seen what happened there and with their 93rd minute and then going into penalties and winning that game. So yeah, it was definitely scary towards the end. I think that has more to do with I know this is the first game of the season for me to already be like mentioning this shit, but I think that has more to do with Sporting's mentality more than anything. I think the biggest worry of mine in terms of this club for the last decade really has been how trash our mentality is. In games like this where we should go 2-0 up, or we should at least push for the second goal to sort of kill the tie, we kind of could lay back a bit and okay, last night was we did well in terms of absorbing the pressure, but in other games against tougher opponents, against Lask, which you mentioned right in the beginning of the pod, I don't know how well that will work. It's a scary sight, especially seeing as they just came off that 7-0 win. My positives, Tiago Tomás looks like a stud. I said some things about how I thought maybe Pedro Mendes was a bit better. I was more sold on Pedro Mendes' size more than anything over Tiago Tomás. Of course, not watching him play enough. Tiago Tomás has definitely impressed me throughout this preseason. He has that.
He's gotten better. He has gotten better,
especially since last season for sure. He also been working on that like signature run of him just running down that like right side to tap it in. And he was kind of did that yesterday where Vieta just slid him through and then he was through on goal and brilliant shot. He still had a lot to do. He was still on the angle against the keeper. So the fact that he could still bang that in, should have got a header, but I won't hold it against him. At the end of the day, it's a header. I don't know how tall he is exactly. He doesn't seem like the biggest aerial threat in the world.
Basically, I thought he was going to be a squad player.
Yeah.
I think he can be more than that. I think he could probably be an occasional starter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean the fact that he stole there's still every spot's still really up for grabs. But the fact that he started ahead of Sporad yesterday shocked me.
And
but
Plata,
I like it.
And yeah,
Plata not so much because Plata last season at least had he really came off his form. He started here and then just steadily declined. Quick question from Tang Ziti. Is Suarez still a possibility? I'm assuming. Is he meaning Luis Suarez?
Nah, the other one. Yeah, he is meaning Luis Suarez, but not the one that you're thinking of.
Which Suarez?
Luis Suarez from Watford, not Luis Suarez from Atletico Madrid.
Oh, true. That's not a bad show. I totally forgot about that rumor.
He's good. But yeah. I haven't heard anything since the initial news. I also haven't seen any developments because if he was in negotiation somewhere, I would have seen it, to be honest. So, also Watford was negotiating one of their players for like 20 mils, but it wasn't him. So,
got it.
Take that for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, he could end up just staying at Watford to attack an attempted promotion.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, true. I the only thing of Watford that I know is they sold Decore to Everton, which is looking like a fucking. I know a
Yeah.
tangent, but it's looking like a buy and a half. Everton look mean right now. But anyways, yeah, back to the Aberdeen game. What were your thoughts on Vietu's position, just kind of as a false 9, or can kind of look at that as a 10, but definitely more narrow. We definitely did play more narrow with Poto and Minge more on the wings than Jovan and Tomaj and Vietu, really. What were your thoughts on his position?
I kind of liked it. It kind of worked, I would say. I think Vieto is probably more threatening in that position. Same with Jovan. I don't think Sporad is as good playing like an underneath position. I think he's more of a target man. But Jovan can kind of play both of those roles decently, I think. But there are some players on the roster that, like Plata, I think, truthfully, isn't really meant for that kind of a role, but isn't really good enough defensively to play the wingback role either. So they would really only work if the wingers or the attackers are playing wider, I think, at least. But, I mean, if Pedro Porro is going to be up and down the flank like a maniac all the games, Nuno Mendes kind of bombs up and down similarly. So as long as you have two wingbacks, that are able to, cover a lot of space in the wing, you can kind of afford to have the wingers of the front three more narrow, because there's really no midfielders that are wide or forwards that are wide. Then it's only the outside back. You don't want Rostovsky playing right back in that type of role, because the quality, going forward isn't that consistent.
Yeah, exactly. And even defensively, I have to say the only thing I can really bitch about Porto yesterday, there was in the second half, he was just trying to. The guy was offside, so I'm not like furious, but the fact that there's no VAR, he was just like hands up looking at the fucking linesman across the field from him, and then he just still let the fucking guy in to get a cross off. Ridiculous. He's going to learn eventually that the refs don't give a fuck about this team and that you have to play for every fucking ball no matter what. But yeah, I think if we discuss man of the match, straight up, mine is going to either Porto or Tomaj, and I'm going to go with Porto, really.
Yeah, it should be Porto. He was the best player on the field.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Cool. I mean, unless anything else is to say about Aberdeen, I was thinking we can go straight into the basketball. What do you think?
Sure.
All right. So we on our qualifiers for the Champions League, am I right? We beat Freiburg or whatever they're called, right?
Fribourg Olympic.
Yeah,
from Switzerland.
Yeah, we beat them 84-78 out in Bulgaria. A big first quarter from the boys really left us to coast to this victory, especially seeing as the third quarter we kind of got outscored. Fourth quarter was kind of even, and then of course today we lost to Ogokia, 70-64. That is a Serbian team. Am I mistaken?
Bosnian.
Yeah, Chris, you're the one really that watched these games. What are your 2 cents on this?
The first game really was pretty good, right? Sporting controlled that game pretty much from start to finish. Trevante Williams balled out in that one, and also John Fields, the new center that they signed, also was really good in that one. But the game today, unfortunately, was not as successful as the game on Wednesday. Yeah, today's Friday. The first game was Wednesday. They were much bigger than us today. They were more physical than us. They had a center who had played some summer league for the Bulls, right? So he's like kind of never played in the NBA, but kind of been on the fringes of almost making the NBA. 6'11" Serbian center. He was just too overpowering for John Fields. Definitely Fonseca as well, who honestly kind of sucks a little bit. But yeah, just they weren't good enough. They didn't shoot well enough. They they really did, they hit like 2 threes in the entire first half. Shot a little bit better in the second half, but in the end it wasn't enough. And I guess now they're going to the FIBA Europe Cup instead of the Champions League of basketball. So basically, the Champions League was the third highest. Now the FIBA Europe Cup is the fourth tier of European competition. So better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, for a team that's been out for 20 plus years, not bad. At least we're in some sort of competition.
Yeah, I mean, they basically...
Maybe a more realistic competition we can win, too. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's all good. It would have been the first Portuguese team ever to get into the group stage of the Champions League. So I think the fact that they even won one qualifying game is pretty good. So
yeah. And it's not like we got blown out today either. So
no. To be honest, it felt like we could have been we were on the fringes for a lot of the game, but it never really got out of hand, and they kept it in there. I think this team for the Portuguese league, though, should be pretty good. I think we're not champions, right? Because the season just kind of got cut. But yeah, I definitely think that they probably have the expectation to be in the final, for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Were we in first or were we tied for first before COVID?
We were in first because we played Benfica like 2 games before COVID. And we got into sole possession of first, and then like maybe one more game, then it got canceled.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you. I have high expectations, and I don't want to say too much, but maybe we'll have somebody in from the basketball team into the pod eventually. We'll see how that all works out. But I'm very interested to see where we go this year. At least the boys. I'm glad to see, though there has been yet no announcement on it. Glad to see that we're looking to sell merch, the basketball merch.
It's online. I looked at the La Javerde website.
It's there. Yeah. Sick. I love how there's no announcement from that. It's like it's like the club doesn't even want to make money. What's wrong with these guys?
New Macron sweatshirts that nice. They don't really hit too good. No. Last year's are better. Like the gray one from last year is better. Like that yellow t-shirt, right? With the green top on top, border. That doesn't translate as good to a sweatshirt, So like a yellow sweatshirt like that with like the green, it's not like the t-shirt is borderline, but the sweatshirt it feels like too yellow for so there's long sleeves too. There's more surface area of the yellow,
Right.
Damn. I don't know. For me, at least, I wasn't a fan.
And like in terms of La Javerde, what are they selling? Are they selling the striped basketball jersey or like just
seems
the
like
green
it's only the striped?
Okay.
So you can customize it though. So I might throw a little number 0 action on there. Potentially.
Nice. Okay. I'm gonna get fucking Carmelo in the back then if that's the case, bro. Fuck it.
You get what?
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony.
Manifest that out to the universe that after Portland they'll come to Europe or something. Some Euroball. What was I gonna ask? Oh, the jersey that we played with today. Just last thing, I guess you're the jersey guy. What was it? Was it like the striped one? Was it the green one again?
It was the white one, the all white one.
The white, all white. Damn, so they're looking like those are gonna be our jerseys, huh?
Yeah.
Because at least the preseason it was just all green and all white.
Today they were in the all green too. Wait, no. Today was all white. The first game was all.
First game was all green.
It was green and black. It was black shorts.
With no logo.
But I mean, there was no logo on the white shorts today either.
Fucking ridiculous. Jesus. Anyways, we'll go into the quickly since we're on basketball. I'll also quickly mention the modalidades. The U23 boys are not doing well at all. I don't know if Sporting B had a game yet, but the U23 lost yesterday 4-2 to Benfica. We scored a banger of a goal to tie it up 1-1. Bicycle kick to the other corner. It was beautiful from I am forgetting his name, Leonardo something. I'll get it eventually. It was a great goal, though. Great goal, but not enough. Benfica slapped us 4-2. We also lost 3-1 against Estoril on the Saturday, and then on the 12th, we lost 2-1 to Coia Piedad. So, not looking good. Sporting B already played a game. Not aware of their games, or am I just... If I can pull it up, give me 1 second. Yeah, can't. But it's really all I have in my head in terms of
Luis is right.
Against Oriental.
Played. They won. They won 2-0, I think. 1-0. Which is actually a really good result considering the B team was missing a lot of players because some of them were being reinforcement, basically training dummies, right, to make up the numbers for the COVID decimated roster in the Algarve. So basically, they played without a lot of their players, and they beat a team that's in theory a promotion candidate. So like a ragtag group of youngsters beat like a fully professional team, trying to get promotion to the fully professional league. So, I mean, I'll take it, right? I don't know if they'll be able to replicate that on a regular basis, but pretty good result. I got to give them credit for that.
Also to mention, the Lloyd Augusto, that was the name of the kid. Also to mention, on Thursday, we had João Silva on the bench, who is the B team captain. I'm still shocked that they're in the second division. Has to be said. We do not deserve to be.
They're in the third? Portugal. Yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Cool. So yeah, that really Mudalidad, like I said, in my head. Of course, next time when Steph is in, he does a lot better of a job than I do in this, and almost everything Sporting, literally. But anyways, Chris, I know you're passionate about this upcoming AG. Give me your two on this. What are your thoughts moving forward? What are your thoughts with us naming gates and fields and all these empty gestures, as you say?
Yeah, so I mean, this is the stuff that we all hate talking about, and it feels like we endlessly have to talk about it. But yeah, unfortunately, we've got some more bullshit this week, and it all culminates tomorrow during the vote. So, dear Sportingista in Lisbon, who's been a socio for at least a year and is above 18 years old, you are eligible to vote. So I hope that you take the opportunity to do so and vote against the budget and the balance sheet from last season. Basically, I guess to do the 1-minute summary of the problems here, right, as I see them. We all know about or if you don't recall, you can go back on the Twitter and look at it. They announced like a 12.5 million euro profit from their 1920 season, right? This is, all of it, the sum of everything, right? Salaries, gate revenue, player transfers, in and out, the summary of everything, right? So they're saying they were up 12.5 million, which seems pretty hilarious because it's literally at the same time as there was like an unresolved ongoing payment struggle with Braga, right? They're buying like 60% of players' passes every time, right? It's like clear that they're finding ways to cut corners, right? Revenue spending wise. So a team that in theory is like net or 12.5 million euros in the green, right? You would think that a team who's doing that good would not be cutting these corners, right? So it's kind of like who do you believe, me or your lying eyes type of deal. So if you go into the nitty gritty of that, basically, this isn't the first time, right, that this admin violates the statutes, right? So they they violate the statutes on a regular basis, and they never get called on it because they have the media in their pocket, and basically the media trades access for criticism, right? So they're the first to know about all this shit, right? And as a result, they cover them all very favorably. That's either the unofficial, or maybe there is an actual handshake agreement where they do that, or if that's just understood to be the case. But basically, like, renaming the gates and the field is in theory supposed to go to votes. Basically, they took the 12.5 million profit, right, and took it out as a debt against the SAD, right? So they basically loaned the money to themselves so that they can say and have a round of news about being 12.5 million up, right? So it's all for a news cycle and just some positive PR. They can kind of like puff their chest out for a couple of days, right? We all know it's like fake, but they can put their spin on it and go relatively unchallenged, except for like people on Twitter, right? Are the only people that are actually calling into question the stuff like this. And we don't get paid like the salaries of these TV commentators who aren't really doing the best journalism, if you want to even call it that.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, what I wanted. The point is I'm not a statute stickler guy. Like, I'm not the guy who's like, oh, you gotta follow all this stuff exactly. Like the statute 32 section C, rule 12, line 8. Like, I'm not that guy, right? So I understand like some things you can't always just go to votes for everything. Like, for example, the name thing, right? If they wanted to sell the rights, I don't really think it's necessary that there be a vote on that. And changing the names, right? It's not the most important thing to have a vote on, but like financial reports, budget stuff, like, yeah, I want to vote on that. But basically, taking a $12.5 million loan out from yourself, you would think would be something that you would want to have to approve. Regardless, you have an opportunity to now do that in a retroactive way on Saturday, right? So there's two things that we're voting on. The first thing is the 2020-2021 budget. The second thing is the previous year's like spending report, which is the $12.5 million bonus thing. So in theory, they have avoided going to votes on taking the massive loan out that resulted in this $12.5 million profit. So if you vote yes on that and it gets approved, you're in the course of that retroactively approving the loan and like the transfer of the debt in the first place, right? So why is the transfer of the debt to the SAD of the club meaningful, right? Because if the SAD gets more and more indebted, which is like one of the things that Bruno Carvalho looked to do, and that was one of his like, achievements, right? Along with Pavillon, like getting the SAD debt to zero, because it was like over 100 million from Godinho Lopes when he inherited, right? So that was one of his big achievements. But now the debt to the SAD is starting to build back up again in this Fernandes admin. So it's dangerous, right? Because a lot of people theorize that their end goal is to sell the SAD, right? So if you make the SAD more and more indebted to the club, it makes it harder to separate from the club, right? So you get this, like, you don't want to be bullish SAD, right? And that's the ultimate, like, culmination of the conflicts, right, coming to a head where you actually get a split. But if the club is so indebted if the SAD is so indebted with the club's like debt because you're doing accounting tricks, you're basically just like dragging the club along, So at the end of the day, if you want to try to sell the SAD, like, the club is kind of handicapped, and you're just like, it's not a situation that you want, right? And basically, if you allow them to set the precedent of doing this and you approve the new budget and the past numbers, you're setting them in a position where they're just probably going to start unlimitedly taking out debt against the SAD, I think.
Yeah, listen, well said. I'm nowhere near as like onto this as you are, so I 100% agree with you and 100% back you on that as well.
I mean, if nothing else, like even if none of this was true, right? Even if all the finances were in line, I would still advocate for voting no on this, on the balance, right? Because number one, it's a protest, right? I don't approve of the way the club's being run. Like, there's questions about whether or not this AG is even legal, right, to have in the first place, and not discuss the other themes and the other AGs that should have been called in the past, right, that they're skirting by with. Like, so I don't support any of this. So I would just vote no regardless. But I think voting, like, if it gets approved, it's actually like kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
And the Benfica Socios voted no on the first round of voting for the budget, right? They were really mad at Luis Filipe Vieira. And it failed like 55-45. They just had a revote today, and it passed like 77%. So, I mean, I hope the Socios hold strong, right? I guess let's just focus on Saturday, right? Let's just get it 51%. No. I truthfully don't know what to expect, what kind of numbers in any direction. Like, I guess if it's like 75% approved, like, I'm not going to be shocked, right? I'm going to be like bitterly disappointed, but not shocked. But I mean, if we get like 60% no, I won't be shocked, but I will be maybe like, you know, a little positively surprised, you could say. But I don't really know what to expect. Bracing for disappointment, though, for sure.
Yeah. The thing that worries me about this all is what the turnout's going to look like. I don't know how much of Veranda's just boys are going to be there to vote.
All the croquettes will be there. And croquettes all have like 20 votes. So low turnout. So low overall turnout, but high croquette turnout equals a 75-25 W for him. Because they all have 25 votes, right? So, yeah, we need to get the vote out of normal people, right?
Yeah.
Normal people with 20 votes, we really need you. But just normal people in general. Mask up, baby. And you need to do it for me, right? Because I would do it if I was there to do it. But fortunately, you got to mask up and go do it.
I really hope the clock members are really out in force tomorrow because, they've been stripped of a lot. And just last week, right, they were like officially evicted out of their little gate, right?
So that's going to be an ongoing court battle, probably decided in a couple months. So, every clock member, hopefully they all kept their numbers and stuff like that to be able to vote. But, yeah, that's a big, a big group to organize some no votes.
Yeah. Let me quickly just give Luis Tomé some love. He's been very active on our comments. Appreciate you, bro. He says, let's hope Verandas doesn't bring the old people in several buses just to vote. Yes. As they have made in the presidentials. We agree with you. That is one of our fears for tomorrow as well. But Chris, what question did you send over to the Sporting admins, really?
Through the link?
Through the link.
I have not.
Amazing. I've never had this happen with a president before in my life.
I'd rather be able to send in my vote virtually rather than some comments that they're going to ignore.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah, that's the running joke for I guess. Especially I would say international Sportingistas, like they talked about the iVoting so much. They finally created they never had an online comment thing before. So they made like an advancement, but I think you'll notice a theme here, right? There's a lot of symbolic wins, right? There's not many concrete W's. There's a lot of symbolic W's. So I would say creating like a recommendation inbox is not like that crazy of an innovation, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes back to this whole naming thing and all of that, and yeah, it's really ridiculous on how far down they brought the club to. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about this, really. Anything else to add before we go into our predictions?
Vote against it.
Yeah, please vote against it. Whoever can, please show up. It's a tough ask, though. And like you said, I'm ready for the disappointment.
And we'll have to, if we do it, right? If we get it, we'll have to organize and do it again, right? Because what are we going to be, the Benfica fans, right? Where we pretend like we're mad at Luis Vieira and then we wait a month and just approve it 75-25? Like,
yeah,
bunch of fucking pussies, right? They act like there's some opposition to him, but it's never real. I mean, to be honest, Luis Vieira has a more organized opposition right now than Frederico Varandas, which is truly incredible, man. There is no real opposition, right? There's no opposition figure. There's no one who's always out there. There's no
aside from Bruno Carvalho, and we have no idea if he can even run for president. After being not exonerated of all crimes,
if the election was tomorrow, he wouldn't be able to. And I don't think rushing to have an AG to reapprove him is something that they're rushing to do. Yeah,
definitely not. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I guess we got to say about that. We'll go into the predictions and preview for our game on Sunday against Passos. But just before, let me bring in some news. Of course, Sporting couldn't play against Gil Vicente last weekend, but Santa Clara taking top of the table after a 1-0 victory against Braga in Braga. A huge W for Santa Clara. Braga now coming off back-to-back losses. Of course, last week lost 3-1 to Porto, and now 1-0 to Santa Clara after getting in Cruz Carvajal. Interesting already to see how Braga is shaping up. But of course, it's still early on in the season. But these are massive things that they've already lost. If we're already looking towards third place, which let's be real, every Sportingista is. We're not really gonna vie for the title.
The race for third in the glory of the Champions League playoffs.
Exactly. That's what we gotta. That's what we're aiming for, really, this season.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Benfica also last week beat Famalicão 5-1. Sorry, somebody decided to fucking pass by with some sort of wheelbarrow. I don't know if you heard that in the back. But 5-1. Famalicão saying it was the least important game of the season.
For many reasons, it's not a game. They've penciled that in for 0, right? They've penciled in across the two games. They've penciled in 0 points.
Exactly. Because why even try for Benfica? First game of the season, losing 2-1 to PAOK. Well, it's not even important. Anyways, we'll go into this weekend. Tomorrow, of course, Benfica play Moreirense at home. Benfica at home, of course, at 1:30 Eastern. And then we have a derby. We have a derby of Porto, basically. Boa Vista against Porto. Boa Vista, who tied 3-3 against Nacional, who have been having a crazy transfer window.
15 signings.
15 signings, one of them being a current World Cup winner. Another one coming out of Manchester United's academy, highly touted after last week he got 3 assists. Of course, I'm talking about Angel Gomez. The kid's a baller. The kid is a fucking
Reggie
baller.
Cannon, the Houston Dynamo's designated player, former designated player.
And they also just got somebody else from the MLS.
The Dynamo guy, the Honduran midfielder.
Was that Reggie Cannon? Didn't they get 2? The American dude as well from Dallas?
Yeah, Reggie Cannon's he was from FC Dallas, plays right back.
There you go. Okay. Who they were rumored with Quaresma at one point, which was amazing. Come on, I'm forgetting somebody else that they signed. Chindozi, former Porto, who they signed. Javi Garcia.
They just locked up Sauer on a 3-year deal, 3-year extension after his big game this weekend.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting game. We just struggled a bit against Braga, especially that first half. They were down 1-0. So we'll see if Boa Vista can steal some points off Porto. What do you think there, dude?
I think they could, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. My only worry is that they leaked in goals against Nacional. So if they leaked in goals against Nacional, they can do the same against Porto.
Yeah.
But Porto, of course, just got rid of Boubacar and Suarez. in the same window. Might get rid of.
Yeah, they're trying to sell. I feel bad for the Porto fans who are trying to be sold the Poupança. That was a move for the Poupanças, letting Abubakar go for free. They've saved 8 million in salary, baby.
You can
like, that's a fucking Poupança, baby.
You can say it,
I like that. There's nothing that gets me more fired up than saving on some salary. Let's fucking go.
Don't kill me. Louise just saying there's a guy from Orlando we can get, Nani. We should buy him.
I'll take Chris Muller too, bro. He is in form. They're striker.
He is.
I mean,
Orlando's looking nasty.
They're
looking good.
They're looking good. Yeah.
They lost in the final, right? That of the makeshift COVID Cup.
That was a pretty unexpected run to the COVID Cup final as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Nani has them firing on all cylinders. And then, of course, at 1:30 on Sunday, we play Paços Ferreira away. And then before we get into that, I just kind of want an honorable mention of this weekend's games. Rio Ave Guimarães. I know Guimarães lost 1-0 this weekend against who was it? Against Belenenses, surprisingly.
Yeah, you hate to see that one.
You hate to see it. The fact that Belenenses already starting off the season with 3 points. Come on. But it touted up to be a really good game. Rio Ave got a new manager. Of course, a few players. We mentioned earlier on, Gerald Jindala, who already, well, maybe not so much Dalla, but Gerald's already getting an assist against Besiktas. They're coming off a huge victory, about to play AC Milan on Thursday as well. Side note, I have an AC Milan coworker. I was talking so much shit. I'm like, buddy, without Ibra,
it's in Vila de
Conde, exactly. So hey, maybe we can sneak in a few home fans.
Lower the goals, maybe.
Exactly. Do what that team did against Tottenham. We'll see. Maybe Rio Ave can steal something against AC Milan, but Rio Ave Guimarães has everything in it to be a huge game. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see if Quaresma can start for Guimarães again. I think he came on and did pretty well from what I've seen. But yeah, another huge game in Portugal. Portuguese League, underrated for those who didn't know. And then, of course, let's get into our Sporting. Paços Ferreira Sporting. Chris, I'll pull up the question right now because Johnny earlier on asked us, what are your predictions? But more so, what's the 11 that you think will play tomorrow against or play Sunday against Paços?
I honestly probably think it's going to be mostly unchanged because I don't think there's going to be any COVID changes, right? So COVID players are still going to be out Sunday. That's in 2 days. Yeah, they're still good. They're still going to be out. So I would imagine the lineup will be relatively unchanged. It's possible that we see Sporad start maybe instead of Vieto maybe. But outside of that, I don't see too many changes. Maybe. Nah, he's not going to start Bragança. Let's not get carried away. But at least he's forced to have him on the bench, basically, mostly because there's no one else. But it guarantees that he potentially could play. But yeah, that's what I think. I think it's going to be mostly unchanged. If there's any change, it'll be Sporad for Vieto.
Yeah, I agree. I think if there's also any change, Sporad for Tiago Tomás more.
You can't sit the kid. He's got the hot boot.
We'll see. He's got the goal. I'm with you, but this is Sporting at the end of the day. When the hell do we care? But I'm with you. Maybe Sporad for Vieto or Tiago Tomás. I can definitely see him starting this game. I would love to see Bragança and Wendell in the midfield, but it is definitely a liability defensively. But we need to see. I really need to see Bragança for 90 minutes. My biggest worry with Bragança, okay, maybe we've already utilized them more than Gerald, but my worry about Bragança is that he's going to be another Gerald. It's going to be all hype that Sporting will not give us the benefit to really see them thrive. And Bragança, He's better than Gerald. I'm not trying to say that he isn't, but
no,
it's just that kind of player. They're smaller. They're more technical than anything else. I'm more worried about that in that aspect that we won't really see as much.
When he starts getting loaned out to other Premier Liga teams, that's when you know it's over.
Fair enough.
We're good for now.
The last year we loaned them out to a second division, so I don't know. Maybe
but that one was that was the mandatory loan that he had to do, right?
Was it mandatory?
Well, in my eyes, I think that or at least they like to see that. They like to see them impressing in the youth ranks and then going out on loan, doing well, and then getting integrated. Yeah. I mean, that's the Palhinha model. That's the gold model. But sometimes you don't ever make it. But Bragança has made it. He has debuted. So the loan path has worked for him. But
it's already starting.
The loan path can also restart at any moment.
Yeah.
The transfer window is not closed, so that's all I'll say.
Yeah. Who knows by this time Sunday, Jovan something isn't already sold, you know?
Yeah.
Luis quickly just saying the game against Pash was traditionally very difficult. That's right.
Traditionally,
but anyways,
parking the bus.
They got
I remember the game last season there because I was like in a hotel from work, so I remember watching the Pass Fadeda away. I think it was a 1-1 or 0-0. Ugly stuff.
I think we won.
I think we won 1-0 maybe.
At least the second. Yeah.
It was
the second game. I for sure know we won. The first one, I'm still not 100.
They're coming off a 1-1 draw to Portugal, who was relegated last season, but then
thankfully Stubal fucking. I don't know why Mourinho saved them. Like maybe it's not financial fair play or something, but I don't know.
Hobbs is now also a defunct club.
Yeah, I seen that. Crazy. Do we get our Taça Portugal back, or how does that work?
Remember when it was missing? Remember the news that it was missing?
Somebody stole it. Yeah,
like the cup itself.
The cup itself. Yeah. It was Bruno Carvalho, bro. That's what my dad told me. Bruno Carvalho went back to get back his trophy.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know who really should have had to do it was Bas Dost for missing an open goal from 4 yards.
Bro. And then Brian Ruiz has to go to the Benfica Stadium and take our Campeonato back too.
Yep.
Quick question from SCB. Who is your best player in these first few games and in this first official game? I think we kind of answered it, but we'll answer it again. My personal one is Porto because I was impressed. What's yours, dude?
I've been impressed with Gonçalves, and Porto is my man of the match.
Yeah.
I've been impressed with Gonçalves' versatility also. And he scored in both of the games.
Most of them.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm eager to get him back. Especially because I think it might be possible against Lask. Though
that's going to be tight if we get the COVID boys back. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But we can't ignore it without going also into Lask with a 7-0 win against I have no idea who, and I have no idea how to pronounce that team's name. Let me try to butcher it. Where is this thing? Dunajska? Anyways, 7-0 win at home in Austria to them. We know Lask's what's the word I'm looking for? Their danger, really. We lost 3-0 to them, if I'm not mistaken, right? I know we beat them first leg, second leg we lost.
Shouldn't have won that game. Like we won 2-1.
No,
went down 1-0 and somehow scored 2 goals in the second half and just
we had 5 minutes of brilliance from Bruno Fernandes and then and that was enough to win the game.
And then they ended up getting spanked by Man U in the knockout round.
With Bruno Fernandes in that Man U team, am I mistaken?
Yeah, because it was post-COVID. Yeah.
How is he allowed to play? That's ridiculous. But anyways, what are your predictions on this game? Not so much the 11, because hopefully, again, we'll have some of the COVID boys back. Hopefully, we'll have a manager back on the bench. Mind you, he can't really talk a lot because of his licensing. But what do you expect from that game?
I expect us I think it's going to be like the game when they came to Alvalade. I think that we're going to kind of be on the back foot for a lot of the game and have to be crafty in the ways that we get forward.
Yeah.
I think that there's definitely a reasonable chance that we could see a game that's longer than 90 minutes. Wouldn't shock me.
I'm just trying to see if they had a lot of like movements on this window, but they haven't really.
That guy Ragu scored 2 goals, so he's still there. The guy with the blonde hair with the hairband, he was good, so he's still there. I'm
not really recognizing anybody.
Who else they had? There's one other guy that was quite good.
Maybe this Dominic Fraser guy. He went to Barnsley for 800,000. But no, I'm not really seeing much. They bought a kid from what is this? From the Danish league for 750,000. They bought a kid from Wolfsburg's second team, Carmaro, French and Ivorian. So their team looks basically the same, is what I'm trying to say. So it's going to be a lot to worry about. My only question and my only maybe positive note, though, again, it's not like we're going to vie for a title anyways. If we are out of the Europa League, maybe that gives us a bit more to push for in the league. But then again, if we're out of the Europa League, I see a lot of movements happening on that last day because our squad, I think, is already big. And, you know, at least with right now, we can at least attack all 4 competitions. If we're out of the Europa League, we're selling a lot. And that's my only worry, really. But score predictions, dude. We didn't even do Passos. What's your score prediction for Passos?
1-0 win.
I'm gonna go for a sufrido 2-1. We're gonna be down 1-0. And then Lask.
1-1 draw with us winning in PKs.
In penalties. I'm with you. I was gonna say the exact fucking thing. Renan is gonna come back from COVID and fucking save all the penalties.
Yeah, a PK shootout with the current roster would be like Wendell, Coates, Jovan.
Oof.
I don't even know who else.
I don't even know.
Sporad.
If you think about it,
PKs are sketchy, right? He just hits it hard. He's gonna get one of the he's made all 3 that he's had so far, but he's about to have one saved because I don't like that shit. There's not much to it.
Here's my thing. With Jorge Jesus taught Bas Dost how to do penalties, and then he passed that on to Bruno Fernandes. But Bruno Fernandes didn't pass that on to anybody. So we're fucked.
Yeah.
We're fucked. Yeah. I don't know. And we lost 2 of our our dead ball kicks too, in terms of Mathieu and
Nuno Mendes has taken all the corner kicks from both sides, which is interesting.
Yeah. Jovan has been taking most of the free kicks, which he scored a banger last season, like the COVID season that we had. But he's so inconsistent in everything, including those free kicks, that it's like I don't know if I should even trust him in that, you know? I
think Gonçalves can maybe hit a free kick or 2.
Yeah, maybe. I can't recall if he did in Famalicão at all either. So, but yeah, that's that. Let's hope that those come true. 2 big dubs, even in penalties. I'll take it so long as we get to the Europa League.
I mean, it's not much money wise, but it is. It's like a pride, you know, for the club.
It's another exactly, and it's another.
You don't want to be out of Europe. If you're out of Europe, you're a fucking joke, right? Especially since Rio Ave could be out of it too. Like only 2 teams Braga's in the group, right? So we got 3 teams in the Europa group, no champions, 1 champions.
No, one champion so far.
2 Euro. Yeah.
And then Benfica not going to Champions might have fucked Portugal's coefficient.
Immediately go back to 6th again after one. So we really got to get 3rd so we can have 1 season of Champions before we have to wait like 4 more years to go to it
another one. Exactly. But no, I'm just gonna say like if we don't beat Lask like that, okay, Benfica fucked their coefficient. Sporting will even fuck it even more because
then that's only if we have that too. Yeah, you're already down. You know, 2 of your clubs didn't even make the
2 out of the 5. 2 out of the 5. Like that's already fucked.
And like
then
making the group stage is like X points, like so. And Krasnodar won their game, so they're in the playoff as well. So it's like,
and then do PAOK drop to Europa League? I believe they do, right?
Yes. No, actually, they're playing 2 legs for those games.
PAOK plays Krasnodar again?
Yeah.
To be fair. But
actually,
anyways,
maybe not. Maybe I made that up. For some reason, I feel like they're playing.
I think they're out. I'm pretty sure they're out. But anyway, even so, what was I trying to say?
Yes, there is 2 legs, bro. There is 2 legs. I didn't make that up. But they are down 2-1. Yeah,
I'm assuming that then they'll probably just jump right into Europa League, just like
they would if they were to go out. They would, because this is
Yeah, damn. I was trying to say something about the Europa League, but I guess not. I can't remember, anyways. So it must not be
there's
important.
nothing like if Europa League like away days to like Macedonia would be such a good time if you lived in Europe. But you can't even do that shit right now, anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, just like Luis, we're on our way out as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Shout out to Luis Tomé. Shout out to SCPRUB, also for the Twitter question. Shout out to New York's finest, Johnny Siniero, of course. We had Kevin Fernandes also in the chat. And that was really it. We didn't have a lot of... and also fake MMHD and 10 Next City as well. Miguel Mota also joined us for a little bit as well. Thank you all for joining us. We didn't have a huge traction, but of course it was just also me and Chris today. Next week, we'll have some the more of the cohorts through with us. Keep in touch with us because we might have a pretty big guest coming in eventually. Sooner or later, we have a few lined up. Follow us on Twitter at Sporting160_EN. Follow us on Instagram that I've every now and again touched. Not so often though, but again, maybe one day I'll touch it. Sporting160EN. Follow us, of course, on YouTube here, Sporting160EN. We might still have some Spreadshirt shit out there on Spreadshirt. If that interests you guys on some merch. But yeah, thank you all for joining us and Viva Sporting.